Australia. We have the honor of having amongst us and welcoming Professor Russell Cross, Associate Dean for Research, Graduate School of Education, Associate Professor Lisa Brown, Associate Dean, Diversity and Inclusion, Graduate School of Education, along with Professor Tricia, Director, Philanthropically Funded Research Center, Graduate School of Education, Melbourne. I would take this opportunity to also welcome our esteemed dignitaries from across the Amity Education Group to be a part of this important event today. To begin our session, I invite Rear Admiral Alok Bhatnagar, Sir, Deputy Director General, International Affairs Division, Amity University, to present the overview of the Amity Education Group.
Yes, sir. ये ना ये दूसरा वाला एक मिनट सर.
Okay, good afternoon. It is my proud privilege on behalf of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, our Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, on behalf of our Group Vice Chancellor, Dr. Gurinder Singh, and on my own behalf and on behalf of all my colleagues, I extend a very warm welcome to our delegation from Australia. India and Australia are very close in many ways. We share a lot of values, as in democracies, multilateralism, and also we occupy the same geographical general space in the world, and that's the Indo-Pacific. We have had very good interaction with Australia in almost all fields of interactions that we can have with other countries, including on my part, since I'm from the Navy. We have very good relations with Australian Navy, and I've got many friends who I still am in touch with, who were in the Navy or are still serving there. So with that, let me get on to the script that I've been given, and we are here to welcome you from the University of Melbourne. I hope you've had a good stay till now. I know it's only been less than half an hour, but I hope you have a good time here and continue to visit us again and again. So this welcome, of course, has been already mentioned. Professor Russell Cross, our Assistant Professor, Ms. Lisa Brown, and Professor Tricia Ade. Your visit to Amity is very valued by us, and we look forward to interacting with the University of Melbourne more often. So about Amity, as I mentioned, our founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, he, after spending about 3 decades in Europe, came back to India with one single dream, that to provide quality education to Indian students. He firmly believes in mixing traditions with modernity and give the required impetus on research and innovation. This is Amity in a nutshell. We have over 200,000 students, 6,000 faculty on our payrolls, and an equal number of adjunct faculty. We have 11 universities, as we just mentioned, and one of the universities, that is this one, which is the flagship, has got 2 more campuses. So you will find the number 13 here and not 11. We have got 150 institutes, which are not universities, but just institutes which provide education in almost all subjects. We also have foreign campuses, as we mentioned. So these are spread over almost all continents except, I'm sorry to say, Australia, which will soon come. So we have presence in London, in Singapore, New York, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Mauritius, South Africa, Kenya, Amsterdam, San Francisco, and our latest one in Tashkent. We'll talk about these a little bit in a bit. We also have 28 schools and preschools, 2,000 acres of campus, 20 million square feet of buildings, 400 programs under 60 disciplines, 2,000 plus patents have been filed by the faculty, 4,000 case studies developed by faculty in the last few years, 400 research projects funded by the Government of India, 700,000 alumni across the world, and 215 patents have been granted. This is our presence in the country, various campuses and institutes. And this is the Amity philosophy of education. We start from pre-nursery up to high school, then undergrad, postgrad, PhD, postdoctoral, and the entire spectrum of education is covered by Amity. I'm sorry for the small font and a busy slide, but this is a gist of all the recognitions and accreditations that we have. Any recognition or accreditation that we can get in India is available to Amity. But the ones that I would like to highlight are the two international ones, which is the one from UK, which is Quality Assurance Agency, QA recognition, and also the Western Association of Schools and Colleges from USA. So these two accreditations help us in doing seamless transfer of credits to various universities in these two countries and also others, because we have got these accreditations. We are ranked amongst the top 3% universities in the world as per QS and Times Higher Education ranking. We also produce the most number of employable graduates in India. You'll see a list of 6 universities below, and the first 5 are government owned and government funded. We are the only private university that has found a place in this list. We've been conferred with many national awards. This one is for intellectual property awards of in 2020. Our online MBA program is ranked 37 in the world and of course number 1 in India. We've been ranked number 1 by India Today, a very reputed periodical in India, and we've been ranked number 1 for the last 11 years in a row. In all other subjects as well, we are either on the top or somewhere on the top in our in the assessment of most parameters that we have. This is a photograph of our Dubai campus, which was awarded the Best Campus Award in 2019 by Forbes Middle East, and our chancellor is on the Forbes magazine cover of that year. We also have a great focus on having green campuses, and we've been given the platinum rating by Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So this is a bird's eye view of where you're sitting now. This is the Noida campus, 85-acre sprawling campus that we have. Another one which is very close to from here is the Greater Noida campus. It's a smaller one, 21 acres. We have a campus in Lucknow, the capital of Uttar Pradesh, and we call it our White House. The next one is in Jaipur, 150-acre campus with its own lake. We have another campus in NCR is in Gurgaon, which is 110 acres. Campus in Mumbai, Gwalior, Kolkata, Raipur, Jharkhand, Patna, Mohali, which is in Punjab. And this is our latest campus, which is in Bengaluru. This is started operations this year, that is this August. And these are our institutes that I was talking about. We've got about 150 institutes all over the country. some glimpses of those. And then we come to our overseas campuses. This is our first one is the campus in Singapore. We acquired this building from Chicago Business School, and this is one of the heritage buildings of in Singapore. Then we have Mauritius. New York is this campus, that the photograph that you see of New York is we acquired this from St. John's University. It's a 172-acre property on Long Island, New York. Has its own private beach. Then we have a campus in Nairobi. Tashkent is our latest campus, which was the real estate and the infrastructure was provided by the government, and we went there on their invite, and we run the place, and we have our faculty, etc. there. But the students are all local. Then we have presence in London. This was actually one of the first campuses abroad on Bedford Square. So whenever you're visiting the British Museum, you'll find it next to it. And of course, Dubai. Then we have some schools abroad in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Amsterdam, Sharjah, South Africa, and Singapore also. Amity is also credited of bringing Harrow. I mean, you may have heard of the school from UK, where royalty and all high-flying people study in that school. That school has no branches as of now, but from this year, they've opened a campus in Bangalore, Amity, Harrow. And we're also getting this school brand to New York, to our campus in New York. Now, getting on to Amity in Australia, we have a long history of having interaction with Australian universities. The highest number of Indian students have gone from Amity to Australia in the last 3 years in the country. We've had more than 600 students on study abroad programs and under articulation agreements in various universities in Australia. We also have one of the highest numbers of students coming from Australia to India under the new Colombo plan. Then we also have got research linkages with various universities in Australia. The Ambassador of Australia to India has participated in thrice in one of the largest international conferences that Amity organizes, which is called InBush. That is International Business Horizons, the acronym for that. We also have presidents and vice chancellors of Australian universities have spoken at our InBush seminar, and also many Scopus Index journals and research projects with other Australian universities. So, coming to the new education policy and opportunities that Australia has, and Indian universities also have. So, you may be aware that in 2020, the Government of India announced the new education policy, which has opened large opportunities for internationalization. Basically, it is the dream of our Prime Minister to make India education hub and do internationalization at home. With that as a backdrop, we have opened the country for other universities from other countries to open campuses in India. And I'm happy to as I was mentioning to Professor Cross, that we have got 2 universities from Australia who have already announced that they will be opening their campuses in Gift City, Gujarat. And I'm hoping that Melbourne will be the next. Under this National Education Policy 2020, we have the possibility of offering joint degrees, training programs, dual degrees, simultaneous degrees, joint online degrees, and what have you. So that is the opportunity that we have, that we can, if we collaborate, we can do, we can give joint degrees or dual degrees to the students both ways. We also have the possibility of bringing Australian universities to India, which, as I mentioned, integrating technology in building long-term, profitable, sustainable, and mutually beneficial partnerships through e-learning and co-branded programs. So we have got a large, array of areas in which we can cooperate, and not only education, which you represent, but also other areas, as I mentioned on this slide. Now, here are some glimpses of the Australian High Commissioner when she came and addressed us during the InBush. She's Her Excellency Mrs. Harinder Kaur Sindhu. We also had Mr. Matthew Johnston. I know if you visited the embassy, High Commission, you would have met him. He's been on campus a number of times. We also run a number of international funded projects. As I mentioned, the New Colombo Plan. US aid also is providing us funds to do research in various in 3 campuses, basically Noida, Gurgaon, and Lucknow. Under the Erasmus Plus program, some of the institutes in Amity have been recognized. Under the UKRI, we collaborate with many universities, as I mentioned here. Sheffield, Surrey. Surrey, of course, is a not a very good name today because of what is happening in Canada. But yes, Kent and many other universities. With the British Council, we are running funded projects with these universities of Northumbria, Essex, and Oxford Brookes. This is a photograph of students from UK who visited us a few months ago. 26 of them were with us in participating in the India Immersion Program, which is a 1-month program which invites students from countries abroad to spend time here. And this is a very popular program in which they are not only do they have some classroom instructions, but also they travel to close by places like Agra and Jaipur, and they get to see the country. Also some industrial visits and things that they would like to do, like yoga, or maybe interact with certain subjects which are very specific to India, like traditional medicine or something like that. So we look forward to getting your students also under this program here. And this, of course, is the doorway through which you can get used to the country, get to know the country, and then if they want to do something more for longer duration programs, they can choose to do that. And I can tell you, 4 of these 26 students have decided to come back to India for longer duration programs. Pan-Africa E-Network project is another project in which Amity played a pivotal role. This project was initiated by our former president, late Dr. Abdul Kalam. When he visited, for the first time when he visited abroad, he said, "I want to go to Africa." So normally, people go to other places. He went to Africa, and he did not take business people with him. He took along with him only academicians. And there he announced that he's going to give a gift to Africa, which they will remember for generations to come. So people thought that he's going to give millions of dollars and all that. So people started clapping. But then he said, "But not a dollar to give." And then everybody said, "What is he going to give?" So he said, "I'll give you the gift of online education." And that's what has happened. And Amity has collaborated with the government of India to now give education to 37 African universities, and about 15,000 students are enrolled now. But Dr. Avinash, who's here, will tell us more about it maybe later. Many more have gone through this program and have benefited from the Pan-African E-Network project. We have a very good and state-of-the-art Amity Incubation Innovation Incubator. Are they going there? Okay, may not be, but it's a very vibrant place where a lot of startups have been incubated. Students from here will just go there and take part in that, and their hand-holding continues even after they've started the startup. We also do skill and vocational training. This is something that we are committed to national building, and in various disciplines and domains like electrical, electronics, healthcare, manufacturing, textile, hospitality. This all we do for skill development. So, as I mentioned briefly earlier, we do 400 degrees across 60 disciplines. Every possible degree that can be given in India is available here, except medicine. There are some degrees that only we give, nobody else does. So these are the various courses that we do here. We also do value addition to our normal learning. So which is every student in the undergrad programs has to take a foreign language, and these are the foreign languages that we offer. We also do communication skills, behavioral sciences, and also military come adventure training, which is very popular with students. They go and stay for a week in tents and do adventure training. So that's the value addition that they do and make them ready for the world outside the safe environs of the college. So we have research and research collaboration with a large number of universities all over the world, and Australia is no exception. We have association with a large number of Nobel laureates. They come and spend time here, interact with students, and they are a source of inspiration for not only the students but the faculty as well. We do ambassador lecture series. The first photograph you see is of Ambassador Garcetti of US. We have the ambassadors from Netherlands, British High Commissioner, Finland, and you earlier saw the photograph of the Australian High Commissioner. We are also very we put a partnership with the industry to give it the required importance, and that's why we are able to produce the most number of employable graduates, because we have very close interaction with the industry. We contribute in a major way in training conducted to government agencies like the armed forces, the police, the Indian Foreign Service, NGOs, public sector undertakings, etc. Amity also runs Humanity Foundation. Here we have two programs running. One is Amitasha Schools, which takes 2,000 students and gives them free education from kindergarten till post graduation, everything covered. And Atul Asha is another set of schools which gives free education to 1,000 boys from kindergarten to post graduate. In the future, we hope to have 35 Amity universities, one in every state and union territory of India, and 100 more campuses across the country. That means universities. To open a university in India, you have to pass a legislation in the government assembly, and then only you can open a university. But campuses of those universities can be opened around that. So 100 campuses, and overseas campuses we hope to have 50. Right now we've got 14. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral Bhatnagar, for sharing with us such an insightful presentation on the Amity Education Group. With that, may I now invite our visiting delegates on the dais for their address. We start with Professor Russell Cross, Associate Dean for Research, Graduate School of Education, Melbourne.
Thank you very much, and particularly for the very fine and warm welcome from Admiral Bhatnagar. I think it's actually India, from an Australian perspective, is actually quite overwhelming. Size, scope, and scale. And in fact, watching the presentation, I think I've been blown away, not just at Amity, but more broadly, when it comes to speed and size, Australia simply can't compete. In particular, when I think about higher education, what came through really clearly in the presentation is the vision that Amity has in terms of how it wants to expand, how it wants to engage, and what it sees as possibilities for the future. In terms of the MGSE history that we bring, the Melbourne Graduate School of Education from the University of Melbourne, our own size and scope, if I can maybe speak to that, to think about where those connections might be, we're a faculty of about 300 academics. I think one of the strengths of the Melbourne Graduate School of Education is our comprehensiveness compared to other faculties of education. And I should also say from January the 1st, we're going through an identity shift. We're going back to being a faculty of education. About 10 years ago, the University of Melbourne changed its structure, and it meant that our former faculty of education no longer offered an undergraduate program. And before we were talking about how the NCTE, for example, works closely with universities to shape teacher education, a decision was made at Melbourne to move to the Melbourne model, which meant that our core undergraduate experience was around ultimately breadth, particularly with an emphasis on the arts and the humanities, our science and technology, and then broadening into other areas, but ultimately leading at the graduate level to the professional skills space. So we have the Graduate School of Education for people seeking careers in education, the Melbourne Law School, the Melbourne School of Business and FBE, engineering, although our engineering faculty recently reintroduced an undergraduate program. And from 2024, the Melbourne Graduate School will transition into the Faculty of Education. We don't know what new possibilities that mean for us just yet, but we're optimistic and quite excited about what it means for us to continue to grow as well. And I think when we looked at the website around our education programs that we offered here, combined with the promise of what the NEP 2020 offers, I think the international connections, particularly around undergraduate student mobility, has been one of the things that looks really exciting. If we'd had done this visit maybe 20 years ago, I think it would have been very much just about students coming and going, as opposed to students actually being in a place and learning. And I think that's what education is about. It's about transformative experiences. It's about learning from each other and the reciprocation. 25 years ago, when Amity was established, the world looked very different. Opportunities were very different. The ability to think and work together through technology were very different. And I think the future in terms of what the Faculty of Education of Melbourne looks like, including what our relationship with India looks like, will be very different from what it's been in the past. So in terms of our visit here today, it's the first, I hope, in part of conversations that we can continue to build on this. I do think it is significant of all the different areas that Melbourne could have had the first conversations with Amity about. In terms of the visit this time, it's been about education, because with the NEP, the integrated degrees, some of those bullet points that you had up, what might a joint degree look like? What might a blended degree look like? What might student mobility look like? Are new things that we could start to think about. So thank you for welcoming us today. Thank you for the snapshot. And we only saw about 10 minutes and I was already thinking there is so much happening so quickly, so fast. It's overwhelming in a sense, but it's also really exciting. So thanks for sharing this. We look forward to seeing the facilities, but ultimately what we look forward to most are the conversations that will happen after this in terms of helping build that relationship. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Cross. May I invite Professor Lisa Brown, Associate Dean, Graduate School of Education, please.
Well, I too would like to echo Russell's thanks for having us here and for the presentation, which certainly gave us a wonderful understanding of who Amity is, Amity's values, and Amity's, I think, place in the world. We're very much getting a sense of that from what we've seen already. My role is in diversity and inclusion. So as a teacher who's worked with a wide range of young people, I think what particularly excited me about what we've seen today is firstly your belief that education is lifelong. To see the early learning, to see the different schools and how that comes into tertiary education and beyond was something that really spoke to my heart as a teacher. And I also very much valued seeing the importance you place on education for all. And I could see that through the foundation, the work the foundation does with the young boys and girls in the education that you provide for them. As somebody who has been really enjoying these conversations that we've been having, I look forward to further ones with you. I certainly think the idea of student mobility between our two universities is something we need to pursue. I know students in our own degree have done some international placements working with young people with disability and neurodiversity. So I really feel that we could learn a lot from the way you structure education, the way that you grow education and have it so integrated within your whole organisation. As Russell said, I see this as a really wonderful start, and thank you so very much for giving us your time today, and we look forward to seeing how the rest of the conversations go this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Lisa. I now invite Professor Srisha, Director, Philanthropically Funded Research Center. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I arrived on Saturday evening, and this is my first trip to India, and I have just been so welcomed everywhere, and I thank you very much for that. I guess I'll make a couple of points, and one is that the University of Melbourne has had research engagements across India for many, many years now, but this visit that has involved a number of staff from a number of our faculties has really been about thinking about long-term partnerships. We're very proud at the University of Melbourne that we're the highest ranked university in Australia. As a graduate school of education, we're very proud to be number 12 in the world. And we want to be able to start collaborating and learning from others and sharing our learnings. So my research centre is in early childhood education and care, and thinking about how we engage young children and families from the very earliest time of their life, because it's a lifelong learning. And I am so impressed by that idea of actually the journey, those scholarships and that you're offering that start very young and go all the way through are so important, and acknowledge the importance of what we do early. And for me, that's what the national education policy is aspiring to, is it's having that opportunity to learn from very early on, and to be engaged in education all the way through. So we're very excited to be here, really looking forward to further conversations and really building the collaborations. So thank you.
We now open the floor. May I request all our senior delegates from the Amity Education Group to please briefly introduce yourself, as also your areas of research and where you feel that we can collaborate.
Yeah, Dr. Khatri.
Hello, good afternoon, Professor Cross and the delegation. I am Dean of Research at Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. and also looking into innovation and extension activities along with research. Also, as a Deputy Director General for MIT Foundation for Science, Technology and Innovation Alliances. I had also some connections with Australia. I had visited University of Technology, Sydney as a visit. I am a visiting honorary professor there. And so good friends, my personal research area is in IT, data analytics and reliability engineering. So some of the collaborative work we had been doing. Uh, as a Dean Research, if I speak about our university, and there was a presentation schedule and definitely we can discuss on that also. But when we talk about Amity, we have more than 30,000 publications coming out in index scopus journals and proceedings. We have more than 236 patents already been granted, more than 2,000 patents being filed. Many of our students are also part of these patents filings and they have been filing the patents along with the faculty members. A lot of our case studies have been bought by the universities globally abroad. Our faculties have also been collaborating a lot of work, and definitely this is an area because primarily I think you're from Department of Education there, but we can look for other areas also. Also, definitely, especially in education, we have Professor Alka Mudgal, who is heading MIT Institute of Education. So she will be sharing her point of view also on how we can collaborate. But when we look into the possibilities of collaboration, first is definitely looking into the articulation arrangements that uh, Alok ji has already mentioned about. This can include any of these three when we talk about twinning programs, joint degree programs, and dual degree programs. Another is India Immersion program, definitely, where some of the students from your university can visit, like earlier also from Australia, the students have visited. We have also study abroad program. Campus and campus is another possibility, definitely, that we can collaborate upon, where we can get some space in your university and we can work from there. Definitely, jointly or in collaboration, we can plan some degrees also jointly there together with you. Also, another thing which we can look into as a possibility is in the collaboration at the level of faculty. So they can work on joint projects in area of education. Definitely we can do, and also in other areas which is common in both the universities of Melbourne and MIT University Uttar Pradesh. Another area where we can collaborate is in terms of joint publications and patent filing is another possibility that we can work upon. Student exchange is another area where the students from both the sides can visit for a shorter duration, or they can be for a semester also. If we can identify the courses and map somewhere where we can have the students visit for a semester from your university also, and we can also send our students. So the student exchange, faculty exchange, joint collaborative projects at the faculty. We can also plan for joint programs, also joint conferences, joint workshops. That can be where the faculty can come closer and work in collaborative way and understand each other and definitely help both the sides. So we can have some of the visits in that direction also. So these are all the possibilities that we can explore, particularly when as a doing research, I'm looking from that perspective of research, innovation, extension activities. But welcome again to MIT, and we look forward for all the possibilities that we can explore with you, particularly on those articulation programs, campus and campus and India immersion program also.
Yeah, just thanks, Dr. Khatri. I think he's brought out some very valid points, and we can take them forward. May not be particularly with the Department of Education, but with the entire university. And we want to have a comprehensive relationship so that we can, meet on many touch points where the collaboration can become stronger. But of course, first we have to sign the MOU. Dr. Soni.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. K.M. Soni. I am Professor of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I am heading the domain of engineering technology here as a Deputy Dean. This domain is having around 6,000 students offering more than 100 programs at UG, PG, and PhD levels of engineering programs, I mean. And my research area is power quality, that is field of electrical engineering, and also recently we have switched to education technologies. Then second role of my is as a head of PhD programs here. So in PhD, we have around 3,000 scholars put together full-time and part-time in all domains of we have a comprehensive university. So one of the domain is education, offering PhD in education as well as in sports education, that is physical education, and also special education under rehab sciences. A very good number of scholars are pursuing PhD and full-time and part-time mode. So we can look forward to the joint supervision, as Dr. Khatri is saying. This co-supervision, joint co-supervision means one PhD guide from your university can take the scholar here, and part of PhD can be done in your university if possible. Otherwise, there's joint supervision that will lead to joint publications and joint conferences, etc. In addition to that, we can also have some joint conferences, Dr. Khatri is saying. So in that, we can have some sessions in our country in our MIT University, and some sessions can be in your university if possible. So that a joint conference, we can do that. Thank you.
First over to you. I
Yeah, once again, a very warm welcome to Amity University. And, as I have already briefed you about the different programs which we are having under education domain, and already Professor Khatri and Professor Soni has already briefed you about, what are the possibilities in collaboration. And definitely, we would be very much interested, to hold conferences together, because that's a very good idea, some part of a conference in your country, in your university, and some part of it, in our university. And of course, we have had, international conferences earlier also, where we have had, partners from other countries. So that is one possibility. Then we would be very much interested in collaborative research, because that is something where the students as well as the faculty can collaborate, right? So maybe I'll just give you an example, because presently we are running doing a research in the field of education. The theme is the education for the children of migrant labor. And in Australia, you must be having a different kind of, outlook about that. So we can definitely, look into your part of, problems, and we can also, have the Indian part of, so we can actually work on it. This is just a small example, and many, more themes can be taken up by the faculty to come up with. And definitely the students also at the master's level. And of course, for the PhD, the scholars, which are taking up PhD, we can collaborate. We can have co-guides from, like Australia, and we can have, from India, the scholars from your side. And definitely the themes can be picked up, which can be worked out, and we can, come up with a solution, for both the sides. Then definitely, when it comes to guest lectures, that is also a very important part, because we can make use of ICT in a big way. So it's not every time possible that we move from one country to the other. So online guest lectures would be another very important part of it. And there are certain things, which are actually specifically talking about India, like multiculturalism. And there's so many things, which we can talk about to the students of your country. And there would be so many topics, which your faculty can take for our students. So, in fact, ICT has taken a very big way up post-COVID. So, the advancement in ICT has taken place in India in a very big way. So, whatever changes we are facing right now, the students, they have become experts in ICT, how to use it, and how well you people are doing from your side. So everything, it's basically a win-win situation for both the sides, actually. So
Thank you, Dr. Mudgal. I will have to unfortunately put the discussions to hold here, because we are being invited to the to Moot Court, where the minister is there. So they would like you to meet them, and then we can continue the discussions in Dr. Gurinder Singh's office. So right now we'll move from here quickly and go to the other destination. Sorry, जाने पड़ेगा. But,